and welcome to Sport This Morning. I'm Cecilia Omogbe.
And I am Tayo Salam.
All right, on the show this morning, we have the final 8 of the Africa Cup of Nations. The last 8, Egypt and Equatorial Guinea, completing that.
Indeed, it was a tale of two penalty heroes, Mohamed Salah for Egypt and Jesus Owono for the Equatorial Guinea, helping their countries into the quarterfinals of the Afcon. Also on the program, but this time, let's talk about the Nigeria Professional Football League, where Remo Stars are still unbeaten in the league after going to Rangers to get a point.
Okay, great one for Remo Stars. Also on the program, Phoenix still rising, 8th consecutive game, and the guy right there on your screen, Devin Booker, scoring 43 points.
Wow.
And that's the 16th time in his career that he's scoring 40+ points.
What a season. What a season the Phoenix Suns are having at the moment. The best team with the best record in the NBA, of course. And yeah, we'll talk about them later on the show, as well as other updates coming from the National Basketball Association. But before then, it's about the Afcon. Welcome back.
All right.
8 teams, 24 started. Now we're down to 8.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Nigeria is not a part of the 8. And one of the teams Nigeria actually beat very well in the group stage is a part of the 8. As football for you sometimes, Egypt were absolutely dominated by the Super Eagles of Nigeria. No one gave them a chance against Cote d'Ivoire. But guess what? They are in the final 8. So,
well, you know, interesting.
Football,
the teams that
funny old game.
Yeah, the teams that we're looking at playing like a championship side,
Yeah.
Nigeria and Cote d'Ivoire, they are out.
That's what
and
I'm
those
saying.
that started like, okay, they're just trying to gain their foot into the tournament.
Yeah.
They're still here. Senegal, for instance, have scored how many goals to get here? Egypt also is here. And Equatorial Guinea, we would have thought about them. They're still here and standing. And Gambia, okay,
exactly.
making their debut. They're still here. Interesting. So
funny old game. Let's take a look at the results from the final 2 round of 16 games that were played yesterday. Cote d'Ivoire and Egypt played goalless after 90 minutes and extra time. But at the end of it all, it was Egypt that prevailed 5-4 on penalties. Mo Salah, the penalty hero, come to that game in a bit. The last game was between Mali and Equatorial Guinea. And once again, identical scoreline went into penalties, and it was the Equatorial Guineans that prevailed 6-5 on penalties. Owono was the star of the show.
His first name is Jesus.
Yeah, the savior, right?
His first name is the savior, and he saved the team. 2 great penalties that he saved. And that's why Equatorial Guinea are here.
Indeed. Bada Johnson is ready to help us analyze everything that went down yesterday. I imagine there's a lot to talk about in those 2 games. Bada, good morning. It's great to have you on the show again.
Morning, guys. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, always great to have you. Bada, let's start with Egypt and Cote d'Ivoire. That game for me looked like 2 heavyweights in their prime, going up against each other, blow for blow, with neither landing the knockout punch. So we went to the judges' scorecard.
Oh, yeah, you couldn't have put it any better. I thought Egypt and Cote d'Ivoire were very measured in how they approached that game, each of them giving as much as they got. They sort of played the game in spells. One team goes forward, tries to score, doesn't succeed, tries again, doesn't succeed, then retracts and gives the other person, the other one, an opportunity to try. And that's how the game played out from start to finish. Each of them would look back and feel like they could have done better with some of the chances that they had. Sebastian Haller had 2. I think Mohamed, I can't remember his other name now, had 1 as well. The Zamalek guy, Zizou, also had 1. Over the course of the game, a lot of half chances, a few clear-cut ones. But you could tell that at the end of the day, this game was going to be decided by either the odd goal or penalties. None of them never really stamped their authority on the other one or showed better, quality or superiority over the other one. Ivory Coast obviously had better ammunition in terms of players to be able to call on Zaha from the bench, bring on Seredi from the bench. Not many African teams can have that sort of, or have that sort of quality in depth. But in terms of how it played out, they never really dominated the game in large spells and created clear-cut opportunities. Hala was an isolated figure. The two chances he had, one was a snapshot, the other one was a header after a flick on the far post. So I feel like Cote d'Ivoire, yes, could have won it because they have better quality personnel, but in terms of the balance of play, the Egyptians looked very sharp. They didn't create so many opportunities, but on the breakaway, they looked really, really sharp. Maybe their best game in the tournament, and they held their nerves when it came to the penalties, even though they had changed their goalkeeper. But these North African teams, when it comes to the little technical details of football, they're just slightly better because their football from the ground up is better organized. They are more exposed to these things much earlier. You can argue that a lot of these Ivorians are born abroad, but in a different football culture, different from African football. These guys, a lot of the Egyptians would have played several CAF Champions League, Confederations Cup, and all these things on the continent, and play the Egyptian league, which is a high-level, league from a technical standpoint. Yeah. So you can always see the difference. Even the Tunisians, when they played us, I mean, that difference told. So it wasn't a super memorable game in terms of, the quality and the entertainment and whatnot. It was one of the better games, it must be said. Yeah. But ultimately, I thought that any of the sides didn't really, display enough appetite to kill off the other ones. And it came down to penalties, and the luckier one progressed.
Talking about luck, what about that penalty from Eric Bailly? I thought it was casual.
It was. I don't know who chose him to take one of the kicks. Ordinarily, it wouldn't be one of my picks. The Ivory Coast team has too many quality players who could have taken penalties than Eric Bailly. I think maybe because he plays for Manchester United and he's one of the more experienced ones. Two things were wrong. The run-up, 1, 2. He attempted a no-look penalty kick. He was looking one way and kicking the other. And those things are easy to read. Again, he didn't go for the corners. The ball was close enough for the goalkeeper to just stretch out his hands, stretch out one hand and push on to the post. I think Cecilia makes a fair point. He was a Trojan, absolute colossus all through the game, even though he was wearing a headgear because he had a head injury. He still used the same head to clear some dangerous balls. And overall, he was one of the best players on the pitch. But when it comes to penalty kicks, it's a different skill set. Yeah. And sometimes managers have to be, less emotional or be less sentimental when they pick players. You've got to pick players who have been putting them away in training, or players that have a history of scoring penalty kicks. And I can't remember Eric Bailly playing any penalties. I've been watching him play even way before he joined Manchester United. When you go with defenders, you go with them because they have, an ability to be cold when it comes to situations like that. They just blast. A lot of times they blast it into the corner or blast it down the middle. Yeah. But Eric Bailly was trying to play a penalty with expect from a creative player like a Ronaldinho or a Juninho, those kind of players. And he backfired badly.
Yeah, too cute.
Interesting, cute penalty, right? Yeah. But then he missed it up. Okay, let's leave Egypt. But before we leave Egypt totally, let's listen to the coach, Carlos Queiroz, talking about the game. Of course, obviously, he's delighted that they are into the round of the quarterfinals.
The key point for us to succeed today was the team discipline, the team organization that we developed during the game, during 90 minutes. We've been focused at every single stage of the game. The Egyptian players, they've been there all the time in the spaces, in the marking, in the movement. And especially the concentration and the belief that they show to respect the game plan, drive them until the opportunities, and to the penalties, final penalties, succeeding and with the atmosphere of being the best team. Sometimes penalties it is lotto, it is lottery, and it is. But today I think the best team on the pitch was rewarded with the penalties at the end. And once again, I want to emphasize that was not easy because he played against, as you said, a fantastic team, very well organized, very dangerous, with brilliant players. But today was our day.
Indeed, it was the Pharaoh's day. There's according to the coach of Egypt. Now, El Nani also, I mean, he was man of the match. He was spectacular. Yes, not Salah. He was the one, but he's reacting to winning man of the match.
Of course, man of the match for me is something like really special to me, especially when my team win today and we qualify into next round. Of course, this show how hard I work every day to help my team, to help myself to improve every game, and of course, especially against a big team today. And I'm happy, really happy to be man of the match today.
Obviously, a happy man right there. Now, Bada, let's quickly go to the game that had the savior on the side, Jesus Owono, who saved 2 penalty kicks for Equatorial Guinea to be able to make it into the round of 16. That game wasn't as gun blazing as we had in the earlier game between Cote d'Ivoire and Egypt. It was a kind of drab and boring. I mean, we're just waiting for the 120 minutes to be over.
Looked destined for goalless
from the very beginning.
It
was destined to be because both sides did not come to the party. Equatorial Guinea, the way they played in group stage wasn't the way they played in this round of 16. But somehow, because they have Owono to thank for it, they are into the last 8. Your thoughts on this game, Bada?
Well, we can say the game was a ball fest, not a lot of attacking play, but you also can't deny that there were good chances fashioned out, especially for the Malian team. In the first half, I remember Yves Bizuma weaving his way past 2 markers in the penalty area, in fact, in box 6, and laying the ball to his teammate, who, for some reason, blazed over where it looked like it was simpler to just tap the ball into an empty net. The goalkeeper was even stranded. So it was poor finishing more than anything else that denied Mali, because they were the better side, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Like you said, the Equatorial Guineans didn't exactly show the same quality, the same sort of organization and understanding of the tactics of the coach that they had displayed prior. Maybe the occasion got to them. Maybe, again, they felt like they had achieved, and if they crashed out, they would still be celebrated heroes back home. But the more the Malian team, the longer they went in the game without necessarily scoring, the more confident Equatorial Guinea became. And they were able to call on better quality players off the bench, Nsue and a couple of other guys who came on. And they started becoming an attacking threat. But even at that, all through 120 minutes, maybe they must have 1 or 2 shots on target. And that's as far as it got. So it wasn't a game that any neutral would have enjoyed. For fans of the 2 teams, they would have been disappointed that it didn't serve up a better game of football. But the Equatorial Guineans continued their Cinderella run in this competition, deservedly, because the penalty shootouts, even though they missed the first one, they kept their nerves and scored more than the Malians. They lost another one, but Mali lost 3. Well, it would be a disservice to say lost. They lost 1, and the goalkeeper, saved 2. So, and off they go into the next round where they play Senegal. And if Senegal commits the same crime that Mali committed yesterday, which was the crime of not making their superior quality tell in the final third and taking their chances, Equatorial Guinea can also punish them. And who knows, this can go as far as the semi-finals, because in terms of solidarity, in terms of organization, discipline, in terms of being able to, set up in a way that the opposition doesn't ever get given gifts. This team is super, super good at it. We've seen smaller teams present the opposition free gifts, opportunities to stroll through on goal and score. Like, the Senegal game, for instance, You saw, I think it was Comoros. Sorry, it was it Guinea-Bissau they played? I can't remember now the team Senegal played in the round of 16. You saw how, aside Sadio Mane's goal, they were presented, especially when they went 2 down, they were presented opportunities to just stroll through on goal, and Senegal could have won that game by 4-5. You can't watch an Equatorial Guinea game from the very beginning of the competition, whether it was the first game against Cote d'Ivoire or the game that followed against Algeria, which they won, or Sierra Leone, and say that any of those sides had free opportunities to score. They hardly ever make mistakes. They stick to their, to the game plan. They're organized, they're disciplined, and even if they don't offer that much going forward, they never ever really look like, conceding. And that's what has kept them so far in this competition and might continue to propel them even further.
Yeah, and I mean that's the good thing about tournaments like this. You don't have to be the most spectacular to win it. And we're seeing Equatorial Guinea doing just that, continuing their giant killing run in the competition. Let's take a look now at the quarterfinal fixtures. But I will just put you on the spot, and I know it's very difficult. All through the tournament, it's been very hard to call a lot of these games, but we'll just try as much as possible to let you do that today. Starting with Gambia taking on Cameroon. There's also Egypt versus Morocco, Burkina Faso versus Tunisia, and last but not the least is Senegal taking on Equatorial Guinea.
First off, I have a feeling that whoever wins Egypt-Morocco probably goes on to win it, because they clash with most likely Cameroon in the semi-finals. And the Cameroonians against 9-man Comoros, I think, were absolutely abysmal. Aside the finishing of Vincent Abubakar, there's really nothing about this Cameroonian team. And defensively, critically, they are all over the place. They are considered in every game this particular competition. Even Gambia will fancy their chances. Tom Saintfiet's team is one of the best striking similarities with Equatorial Guinea in terms of organization, in terms of solidarity, in terms of just being dogged mentally and very difficult to break down. So Cameroon might be in for a shocker, but I imagine that it will be scrappy. They will still pull through the experience, the fact that they are playing in front of their home fans, and of course the quality in the final third of Vincent Abubakar will continue to build them out. Ekambi's strike partner didn't exactly show ruthlessness in the last game. And Choupo-Moting still hasn't arrived in this competition. So, but I think Cameroon will beat Gambia ultimately. Morocco and Egypt, tough to call, but with the sort of sublime quality that Hakimi is producing from dead ball situations, Morocco might have the edge in this one. And in terms of just the consistency of their football from the very beginning of the competition, they've had some dull games, but they've won most of them. I think Morocco are slight favorites in that one. Burkina Faso and Tunisia. The Burkinabe team tends to lose a lot of chances. They play well in games, but they never really press home the advantage. We saw it in the first game against Cameroon. We saw it in their last game as well, where it took penalties against Gabon when they should have won the game easily in regulation time. I think Tunisia will beat them. Tunisia is too disciplined, too organized, and too experienced for the sort of way that Burkina Faso plays. They will limit them to maybe just one scoring opportunity, and once Tunisia scores, that's the end of the game. Senegal, Equatorial Guinea, if Mane is fit, if he doesn't have to observe the mandatory 1 week off that people who suffer concussions are supposed to observe, and he plays, Senegal will have a clear advantage over Equatorial Guinea. But if he doesn't make the team that plays that game, they will have serious problems on their hands, because as we saw yesterday, Equatorial Guinea doesn't have to play well to progress. They just have to be defensively solid, organized, be difficult to break down, and they can push the game into extra time and penalties. And Senegal haven't scored a lot of goals, played, I think, 2 goalless draws. In fact, in history, they have to be one of the few teams that have progressed to the knockout rounds, so just scoring 1 goal, just that 1 penalty against, I think, Guinea, which was, they drew Guinea in their first game, which was scored by Sadio Mane late on, I think against Zimbabwe, I can't remember. But they haven't exactly set the competition alight themselves. So Senegal slight favorites, but if Sadio Mane doesn't play, then Equatorial Guinea will have a 50-50 chance against them.
All right, interesting. Badawon, thank you so much for joining us this morning. And of course, it's the Africa Cup of Nations. We'll definitely continue preview of it tomorrow. Thank you so much for taking our time to join us as usual.
Thanks for having me.
That's it for the Afcon segment. We need to go on the break, but we'll come back. There's still so much more on sport this morning. All right, welcome back. Now let's talk about the FIFA World Cup. Gianni Infantino had to address, the African leaders confederations yesterday because the Nations Cup is currently going on. He needed to address Africans. Trying to highlight the benefits of the biennial World Cup to the football federations leaders in Africa. And he said a whole lot about this concerning the fact that, well, if the World Cup is being held every 2 years, Africans would need to be traveling to Europe.
So pretty much what Infantino is saying is there is loads of benefits, loads of opportunities will be created for Africans if the World Cup is held every 2 years. Let's take a listen to Gianni Infantino.
We see that football is going into a direction where a few have everything and the vast majority has nothing. I understand. In Europe, the World Cup takes place twice per week because the best players are playing in Europe. So in Europe, there is no need for additional possibilities and events. But if we think about the rest of the world, and also if we think about Europe, the vast majority of Europe, who doesn't see the best players, who doesn't participate in the top competitions, then we have to think about what football brings, which goes beyond the sport. Because football is about what I was saying at the very beginning, about opportunities, about hope, about national teams, about the country, about the heart, about the joy, about the emotion. And we cannot say to the rest of the world, give us your money. If you have or happen to have a good player by coincidence, give us the player as well. But watch us on TV. We need to include them. We need to find ways to include the entire world, to give hope to Africans so that they don't need to cross the Mediterranean in order to find maybe a better life, but more probably death in the sea.
As the FIFA president, Gianni Infantino, just trying to let everyone that cares to listen know that there's so many opportunities, so many benefits, especially to Africans if the World Cup is done on a 2-year basis. Because of that, you don't have to travel across the sea looking for, a better life. That's pretty much the message coming from Gianni Infantino. Of course, we're still a long way from having a 2-year World Cup. Feasibility studies still being done regarding that. And we all know the opposition coming from Europe and South America especially. So fingers crossed, we'll see how this pans out. Olawale Ishola is in the building, making his comeback after a long time on the sidelines. Olawale, good morning. Happy New Year.
Tayo. Good morning,
it's great to have you.
Yeah, it's very nice to be here.
Indeed.
Once again, Tayo. It's been a while.
Where have you been, man?
Oh, I'm doing great. I'm enjoying the Afcon.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying the NPFL.
Right.
And I'm enjoying the sports I news all over the world.
Indeed,
yes.
Indeed. All right, then let's just get your thoughts on Gianni Infantino talking about the many opportunities Africans stand to gain from a 2-year World Cup.
Well, my take is that the World Cup is not only about Africans. We should consider the whole world. Now, first of all, players are already complaining about fixture congestion right there in Europe and in other parts of the world. But now having the World Cup in 2 years, I think it will be much more cumbersome for players on the part of players. And again, how do we twist the current calendar? Because the 4-year gap that we have the World Cup, to me, it's okay. But the economic part that Gianni Infantino is trying to preach to we Africans, I cannot see the correlation between having a World Cup within 2 years and the African economic well-being.
How so? I mean, if a tournament is done on a 2-year basis
yes.
more frequently, that means there's more job opportunities for Africans. That's his message.
But I understand what I don't know. I really quite get the message.
Yeah.
But even if it's held 2 years, how many African countries have the money, the economy to host a World Cup? It's just a few.
I think
it's just a few. Because what's the World Cup title? You don't really need the stadium. You need the infrastructure, the telecommunications, the roads, the logistics. It's huge. It's huge. I know the visibilities are still there. They are still doing their studies.
Exactly.
If it will make things better, why not? They can host it. But let's consider all other factors that make the 2-year, the biennial World Cup. Let me put the biennial World Cup will be for the entire football community all over the world. So you should not think only about the Africans alone. We should think about the entire world.
I think what he's trying to do is convince the fact that if you have a biennial World Cup, the revenue that will be coming, which is about $4.4 billion
extra,
I mean, Africans will get more money. It's not really about hosting, because if you look, apart from Morocco, Egypt, maybe Tunisia and South Africa.
It is part of the benefits they're looking at as well. Because if you do it every 2 years, then there's more opportunities to host as well. So, for example, a country like Morocco who's been trying to host forever now will get a better opportunity to host, which is going to trickle down to the economy.
Also have opportunity to host.
Then other Africa
countries, if more money is coming in, then they don't have a choice than to use that money to develop facilities. I think those are the issues he's trying to look at. And if you have that, then we don't have a choice than to focus on our league, and also the money will trickle down to developing our league. And of course, players, instead of going to Vietnam or something, I mean, you want to stay in your league and play if the money is there. I think that's what the picture he's trying to paint. Just try to woo Africa to be part of the success of the biennial World Cup.
Oh, well, I quite to me, I'm looking about the glamour and the pedigree of the current format.
So you love 4 years?
Yes.
Okay.
The current format gives the competition glamour, pedigree. You're always looking up to the competition every 4 years. Every 2 years, to me, would take away some glamour and pedigree from the competition. We should look at that. Now, if you're looking, Cecilia, I'm looking about the money now. What about the future? Because when is less glamorous, the revenue will dwindle.
What makes it
There's a correlation.
Glamorous?
Because to me, every 2 years, you host the World Cup, and you have an Afcon, you have the Euros, you have a lot of all other international competitions.
They're going to have to work that out.
Do you understand?
The international calendar will obviously change.
To me, I am okay with the current format of 4 years.
Right.
I'm always looking up to the World Cup every 4 years.
All right.
But if it's 2 years,
4 years is a long time, man.
But tired,
it's a long time to wait.
Change is permanent.
Yes,
because
that's the only constant thing.
Because it's 4 years. I want to be for 4 years. Things can change.
Okay. All right.
Inclusivity.
So let's live it.
That's the message coming from Gianni Infantino.
Let everyone be part of the World Cup.
Everyone, every 2 years.
So let's live it and quickly go to
Let's
NPFL.
move on with the show, guys.
Nigeria Professional Football League. We'll get us talking right now. We'll take a look at the rescheduled games that were played yesterday. Remo Stars still unbeaten. They went to Enugu to get a point. That game ended goalless. No goals were produced in that one. Of course, the other game that was also played, it ended 2-1 in favor of Shooting Stars. Shooting Stars went behind first.
What a game.
And then they came back, and at the death, Ebenezer scored the winning game for the winning goal for Shooting Stars. 2-1 it ended. And of course, Eyimba and Akwa United, Eyimba, just one goal was enough for them. And it was Tosin that scored that goal. He dedicated that to his father. He lost his father recently. But he scored the only goal in the 29th minute, and then Aqua United just couldn't come back. And that's it. Remo Stars still unbeaten, goalless. Interesting. For Remo Stars, I mean, after 8 games, it's still unbeaten. Yes, they didn't score here, but what they've done, 3 draws, 5 wins, is remarkable for a team that just gained promotion.
Very remarkable, impressive. Well, the Oracle is back. That's been a tough, because after his last stint with Sunshine, that went very bad for him, which have very affected his position. The Oracle is back, and I'm happy with what's going on with Remo Stars, because I've been an advocate of private football clubs getting the fair share of of victories and in the NPFL, because it is good for our football. The more we have the private football clubs managing, being in the NPFL, the better for the Nigerian league. It's a very, very impressive. And again, Cecilia Tayo, for a newly promoted side, not to have lost any match after 8 matches, that is awesome from the Remo Stars players and their technical crew. So it's very good. And again, we're having a very cleanly contested league. Rivers United are leading on. Rivers United are leading, but on with same points Remo Stars, but they have better goal difference, and closely followed by Rangers. And Enyimba is there too, in the top 5 bracket. Well, and I'm happy. My darling Shooting Stars.
Okay.
They're out of the relegation waters. It was a very tough game for us yesterday. But it's still not El Dorado for Shooting Stars because we've not been performing at the level expected.
What is the level expected of Shooting Stars?
The government has really invested in the club.
All right.
They recruited. Unfortunately, we lost our GM. Miso Rez is perfect piece. He has the art of football. He has love football so much. Rashid Balogu. And it was happy and a very nice sight for Shooting Stars to have survived the scare against Quara United. But like I said, they recruited a lot, they invested in that team, but the results are not coming out yet. The results are not coming out yet. Hopefully with the win against Quara United, they can pick up some points on the road and turn Adama Sigba to our usual slaughter slab. But it's not there for it's not there for now.
How many have they slaughtered this season? Let's see how far they will go. All right, let's leave the NPFL and quickly go to
NWFL.
NWFL, the games that were played in Nigeria Women's Football League Premiership. Just 6 games played. You're winding off the first half of the season. But in that match, day 6, let's start with Group A, where you have Niger Ratters and Nasarawa Amazons. It ended a lone goal. Nasarawa Amazons beating Niger Ratters. I think Niger Ratters, their fairy tale over. Doshima, 27th minute, a goal was just all they needed in that game. For Adamawa and Pelican Stars still winless the whole of the season. I still haven't won a game this season. Adamawa beating them by a lone goal. It was Ijoma Obi, a 57th minute penalty that gave them that lone goal victory. For the game between Edo Queens and Osun Babes ended 3-0. We'll talk more about that game much later. Adobe Okai, KBC Samuel, they were all on score sheet. For Delta Queens and Royal Queens, 5-1. It was supposed to be a derby, but then for Delta Queens, they just run riot over their less superior rival. Sunshine Queens and Abia Angels ended 1-0. Abia Angels scored first, but Sunshine came from a goal down to win that. Bayelsa Queens and Rivers Angels. Rivers Angels finally lost the game this season. And just the hands of Bayelsa Queens. Itimi Messi, 25th minute goal, was all Bayelsa Queens needed to beat the almighty Rivers Angels. So we'll just quickly look at the game between Edo Queens and Osun Babes. Yes, it was always going to be in favor, of course, of Edo Queens because they haven't lost a game this season. But this game ended 3-0. It was a spectacular game for Edo Queens. Still yet to lose a game this season. Tyra, what do you think? Yeah, just as I mentioned earlier, you have Adobe Oka scoring the first goal in the 37th minute. Then Samuel Yemisi scoring 67th minute. And the other goal, of course, Adobe Oka scoring 2 goals in the 71st minute. She scored. It was interesting that going into the second half, Edo Queens were leading by a lone goal. I think maybe Osun Babes, because of their wobbling season, they might try to get something out of this. But somehow it wasn't to be. And then they couldn't even score a goal. And Edo Queens were just happy to put in all the goals. That was one of the miss right there.
Yeah, they were rampant. And Edo Queens, Cecilia, we talked about how they started the season very well, and they were always going to beat Osun Babes. It was just a matter of how many goals. And they ended up scoring just 3, just in quotes. Very convincing victory for Edo Queens. And it seems that they're doing something right. It's well documented. Their travel plans from venue to venue to play these games. So it seems the management of the club, they're doing something right. They're making sure that the players focus on playing football alone, which is very, very important because we have history, of teams having to deal with a lot of issues off the pitch rather than focus on playing games, and that tends to affect their output, their performance. But that's not the case with Edo Queens, and that's one of the goals right there. The goalkeeper was in no man's land.
And she had
She just went around the goalkeeper. And
where the defenders, what were they doing?
They're right there on the line, but it didn't really stop her. It didn't stop her. It didn't deter her at all, and she took a chance. And that's the deputy governor right there. Did I just cite him?
Yeah, I didn't actually go to.
Obviously, very delighted to see Edo Queens scoring another goal and getting all 3 points.
One of the sport-loving government officials in Nigeria.
Government officials,
he has shown that he loves football so much.
Yeah.
He's giving it all for insurance and Edo Queens.
Yeah.
Like you said, motivation is very key.
Very important.
It's not what you can do on the pitch alone. What matters at times, it's what you're putting in outside the pitch, in terms of rewards, in terms of salary, in terms of logistics, in terms of welfare, medical support. All these things cumulatively ensure that when players get into the pitch, they concentrate and focus on their assignment.
Yes.
And once we can sort that out, outside the pitch problems, it's left for the players to deliver.
Indeed.
And they've delivered.
Indeed. All right. We'll see pictures coming from Delta Queens taking on Royal Queens. Cecilia, what's that about? I mean, we knew this was going to be a one-sided affair as well. So.
We didn't know that. At the first half, it was already 3-0. And then in the second half, of course, another 2 goals coming in. Royal Queens tried to get one back, 3-1. And then after that, it's like they got upset and scored 2 more. They
got upset.
All right, guys. NFL, let's get reactions coming from the game.
When we're playing, we have a different style of play. The way we're playing away, we have a different style. In this match, we have to play 4-3-3 because we want to score goals. We will not be scoring goals well. So we took the opportunity, and we knew if we had our chances and we were converted, we'd score more goals today.
They allowed the Delta Queens to force them to play to their pattern of trying to balloon the ball. So they allowed them to play their pattern. That was why we lost the game by the end of the day.
We know it's going to be tough, all right, but at the first half, we really felt relaxed and we lost our own concentration. So before we could get ourselves second half, it was already late.
Yeah, Vera Samuel obviously happy with that 5-1 victory. Well, Coach Ogbonna, he's not having it funny at all, having to take to his side that, well, the quality is really not to there. Because most of the players, the big guns like Rivers Angels, went there and recruit heavily. And so they're trying to build a team. But against Delta Queens, it just wasn't close at all for them. All right, let's leave the NWFL now and quickly talk about Mls Adidas Cup. Now, for the first time, they will be having teams from Nigeria to take part in the African qualifiers. And of course, when you're looking at the cup and you're looking at the teams that will be there, it's the Under-17 prestigious Major League Soccer Generational Cup in the US. It's going to be played next year, but the draw was done yesterday, and there are teams that will be representing Nigeria, but they will need to play qualifiers to qualify for the cup. And you have Remo Stars Beyond Limit Academy. It will be part of it. 36 Lion, also part of it. Smart City, also part. Box to Box. Remember them in the FA Cup against Vandreza. When they took Vandreza almost to the cleaners, it took just a long goal for Vandreza to beat them to win the Lagos FA Cup. They will also feature in the qualifying tournament. So the winner of the qualifying tournament obviously will earn a ticket to participate in that MLS Cup in April next year. Manchester United, Real Madrid, Chicago Fire, Celtic, Arsenal are some of the academy that will also be taking part. And the qualifiers will be in at the Teslim Balogun Stadium on Saturday. Let's listen, more to what they had to say concerning this cup and the benefit it's going to bring to the team that will be taking part.
I've seen all 4 teams train, and they're very good players. But imagine giving them the exposure to play at that level. The tactical aspect of it, the technical aspect of it, even the physical and emotional aspect of it, the confidence they will get coming back to Nigeria to continue their career, and potentially having some of them even signed at this tournament is tremendous.
My goal is the final, because I've been doing it for years. It's not today, it's not 10 years, it's more than 10 years. So I know what it takes. I know the talent to use. I know when to use my player. So And I've been playing Remo, not today.
We have been seriously working on the guys, training them every day, and we are playing in a really competitive league in the country, TCC, and I think they are ready for this. But what it means to for us now is that they will have the opportunity to showcase themselves at the elite level if we qualify for the qualification stage in Nigeria here.
Opportunity to play at the elite level. Obviously, the academies that will be taking part, they're really happy about it. I mean, Ty, you listened to, the coach of Beyond Limits Academy saying that he has played, the coach of 36 Lions saying he has played Remo Stars, because of the Nationwide League and also the Creative League that is ongoing. So I think they know each other already, but having to get the under 17 is something that will really be difficult for them because, it's just academy and you can't bring players from the league.
I think it's going to be very competitive.
Yeah.
I think, it's going to be very hard to call. A lot of very decent under 17 sides here. The Remo Stars, we've seen them in the TCC League in the last couple of years now. They're very decent sides. Some of the players are obviously stepped up to the main team. So we'll see. All the best to these teams as they compete to represent Nigeria at the MLS Under 17 Cup in the USA. We need to go on a break now. When we come back, we've got details for you from the National Basketball Association. You're welcome back to Channel Sport this morning. Time to take a look at the National Basketball Association. Games that went down this morning in the NBA. We have the results for you. The Bucks were in action against the Cleveland Cavaliers, and the Cavs were the winners on the night, 115-99. The Cavs are for real. They are for real. We've got to start recognizing now. Cecilia, they're not going anywhere. And
8 wins in their last 9 games.
There you go. There you go. All right, let's move on to the Hornets and the Pacers. 158-126. Cecilia,
high-scoring game.
What a game.
Franchise record.
Franchise record for Charlotte in that victory over the Indiana Pacers.
Route.
The Clippers were in action just the night after they came back from a 35-point deficit. They were in action against the Orlando Magic, and they prevailed 111-102. Fantastic victory for LA right there, still playing without Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. The Knicks, or the Kings, they lost against the ATL Hawks, 104-121. Elsewhere, the Miami Heat defeated the New York Knicks 110-96. The Nuggets, led by Nikola Jokic, beat the Brooklyn Nets 124-118. For the Brooklyn Nets, no Harden, no KD, no Kyrie.
No Kyrie. So
I think we have a bit of a problem right there with the Nets. They're going to have
James
to
Harden's out with a hamstring tightness. Maybe we'll be ready for the next game, hopefully.
Well, we're here is day to day, so
so
keep monitoring to see if he's good to go in the next game. Tough situation to be in for Brooklyn in the victory over the San Antonio Spurs. Think about
All right, these are the big numbers on the night. Okay, time to take a look at the papers. Before that, I'll just take 2 tweets.
Right.
This is coming from Sedo. Sedo says Equatorial Guinea, Morocco, and Cameroon are the team to elevate to final. But Equatorial Guinea is a team to scare because of their discipline, tactics, and approach of playing. They have no respect for any team. Interesting. And Law Alpha says, I'm sure these referees have been cautioned. African soccer is all about physicality and robustness. I'm surprised Rangers couldn't upstage Remo Stars. All right, interesting. Okay, let's just take a look at the papers right here. I'll start with Complete Sports. And Complete Sport here, the big story here is the fact that Complete Sports says Newcastle, Arsenal plots 70 million euros for Osimhen.
When? This window or next?
Tayo, this is what you have in Complete Sport. Details of it is right there. So open it and you read everything. That's according to Complete Sport. Newcastle and Arsenal.
Silly season.
They are plotting 70 million quid for Victor Osimhen. Yeah. Yeah.
Happily. Newcastle has the quid. He has the money to spend. They're being backed by the Saudi Arabians, which is a huge fund. They're the richest club in the world now. this in terms of fund available, so they can price him. But to me, I don't see him leaving Napoli now for Newcastle. While Arsenal, do Arsenal have the money to price him away from Napoli? I don't think so.
Okay.
So he remains in Napoli.
Okay,
Yeah, so
I love that.
all right, let's go to any other one.
Okay, yeah. Kalu joins Watford from Bordeaux. Okay, now.
That's the guy I was trying to remember.
You remember yesterday, yeah. Okay, yeah.
Carly, that's another Nigerian at Watford.
We missed him at the Afcon. We'll have provided some width and backup on the right side. Unfortunately, we couldn't get him. Samuel Chukwueze that was playing his position was very poor in the competition, was not there. So it's a good thing for us leaving Bordeaux to Watford. He has had a decline in Bordeaux. So this is a lift for him to go to Watford. Well, Watford has now become in the Nigerian second national team. We have Trostekon, Etebo, Emmanuel Dennis, and Samuel Kalu joining them. Unfortunately, Emmanuel Dennis will have had a good time at the Afcon, but he decided to ditch his country. Well, let's see what comes out of that decision.
That was a bit harsh.
I didn't mean I wanted to play for us at the Afcon. We'll have put it through.
What if the club
But he decided not to play for us at the Afcon.
The club took advantage of
we went to Afcon. We are out now. Let's move on to the next stage.
Talking about we are out, still on complete spot. We will do better at next Afcon. That's according to Ola, and our government vows Eagles will come back stronger and we'll hold our heads up high and come back stronger. That's all reactions.
Ola, let me start from Ola. Ola was sublime throughout the Afcon. He gave all his all. He was our best defender. Absolutely. Well, what happened against Tunisia? We couldn't manage the game. The tactical superiority on the part of the Tunisians overwhelmed us. We had our game plan. Our game plan was come from the wings. We didn't have any backup from the midfield. Unfortunately, we came unstopped. The Tunisians stayed down to their game plan, stifled the balls going to the wings, double up on Simon. That was the end of the game. But I believe in what I saw from that team, from Iguavon, we will do better. Because from the ball feast that we witnessed under Roa, we got something different, Tayo Cecilia. With all, in all fairness, the Eagles, they were aggressive, they were entertaining, we had the flair. Unfortunately, we couldn't get it right when it mattered most. Even at 10 men against Tunisia, we fought in the last minute. That is what I expect from Eagles. You might lose, but show character, show guts, be aggressive, make us happy. So in any way, to me, they should keep Iguavon as our coach.
Bottom line, right?
Yes, because I've been saying it, we should beware of our own Ides of March. March is now here, the Ghanaians are coming. No matter how depleted a Ghanaian side is, no matter how weak a Ghanaian side is against Nigeria, they will come out for us. So we must go to the World Cup. The best way to go to, the only way to go to World Cup, let's keep the coaching crew. It will be unfortunate for us to have 3 coaches in just 2 months. There will be high level of instability. Let's keep the Iguavon and see what happens at the playoff. To me, the most, we must go to the World Cup.
Ola is a bit passionate
about this.
Just a bit. Just a bit, not more than that. Many thanks for coming on.
You're welcome, Terry. It's nice to be with you guys in the studio once again.
Appreciate your time. Stop being a stranger. Thank you all for watching as well. Enjoy the rest of your day. I am Tayo Salam.
I'm Cecilia Mogbe. Have a fantastic day.